Okay. Show me.
Hi there guys, welcome back to the Dutch ST channel. Thank you very much for tuning in for a maiden flight of this, the Esky Eagle, a 1100mm trainer. Well, it's a pusher airplane. It has a little bit of dihedral, a minute amount of dihedral, landing gear and pretty big wheels. Now I'm at this grassy field over here, right? Now what you can probably see is that the grass isn't all that long. This field is very bumpy though, and I know from previous videos of mine that the field doesn't look super duper bumpy in the video. It is quite bumpy. Okay, just take my word for it, it's quite bumpy. A Durafly Tundra would definitely be able to take off from this field, definitely. But that plane has bigger wheels than this Esky Eagle. So we'll just see what happens. Now also there is a lot of wind. Yeah, you can probably hear that there is a lot of wind. And I'm a bit, well, I'm not completely sure if I would be, okay. Well, okay, you can see that there's a lot of wind. Yeah, I'm not completely sure if I would attempt a maiden if I wouldn't be a YouTuber. Does that make sense? I just want to fly the plane also, of course. Okay, so I've got two lipos with me. A Graphene 2200 3S and a Nanotech 2200 3S. And the Graphene is definitely bigger and heavier. I'm sure you'll be able to see that the graphene is thicker. The C rating is a little higher on the graphene as well, so that makes sense that it's a little heavier. So I expect and hope that the plane will be nose heavy on this graphene lipo and neutral on this Nanotech. And we'll just see, we'll do two flights, and I'll start off with the graphene, because yeah, nose heavy isn't a bad thing in a maiden flight, right? Okay, here we go. Alright, here we go. A pre-flight check. Aileron right, aileron left, elevator up, elevator down, rudder right, rudder left, and, well, throttle. Yeah, okay, let's do a little bit of a taxi test. You can now probably see the bumpiness of the field. And let's try a takeoff, why don't we? Yes, we are up and away. The takeoff was uneventful, and we have control over our airplane. And actually I have to say that it's faster than anticipated. I'm flying it at 50% throttle. And yes, it is nose heavy with this graphene. So that's a good thing. It felt when I balanced the plane on the pegs, on the wings, it felt like the CG was precisely correct with this lipo, so the graphene, but it's nose heavy. So those pegs on the wings, in case you get this plane, the pegs on the wings are placed conservatively. Which is, yeah, which is a good thing, I guess, right? Better that than the other way around, but you can definitely get away with a CG slightly rearwards of those pegs. Okay, I've done a little bit of trimming on the elevator. Yeah, and I really don't know if you will be able to hear me or the plane for that matter. I'm still flying it at around 50-60% throttle, and it has more than enough power. Oh, the motor is a real screamer, by the way. The propeller, yeah, maybe it's the propeller, could be. Alright, and the self-centering aspect of this plane, yeah, it isn't like, for instance, a Bixler. It's not as easy, if you will, as a Bixler, this plane. But as a second plane,
4 minutes.
it should be nice as a second plane. Definitely. Cool. You know what? I'm gonna land the plane and try that slightly lighter lipo. Because this is actually a little bit annoying, this heavy lipo. Oops, yeah, that was a little fast. Flare, yay! Okay, landing it is a joy. Yeah, that first touch and go was at too high a speed. Okay, yeah, now it's too windy. Okay, but yeah, that second touchdown, it's a new plane for me, right? So I have to feel it out, what the approach speed is supposed to be and such. And it's also very, very windy. But so far, so good. Okay, let's try it on the Nanotech, the slightly lighter lipo. Here we go. Alright guys, second flight for the Esky Eagle Trainer Beginner Pusher FPV airplane, 1100 millimeters. Now I have programmed in flaps on this slider. There, flaps. The plane does not need flaps, just so you know. Especially not on a windy day. It is a very windy day. But okay, so I've got the Turnigy Nanotech 2200 3S in it. Let's see what that does. Here we go. Okay, yeah, it is very windy. It is very windy. And it's not a heavy plane, obviously. So taxiing on this rough surface, okay, but taking off shouldn't be a problem. Here we go. That was not a perfect takeoff by any means. But we are up and away. I have to say that the elevator is a bit weird. It's as if the servo is tangled up in the lipo wires. No, it's just the wind probably. And if this is the first video you see of this plane, I just flew the plane on a heavier lipo. That was an easier flight. Maybe it could very well be I've got a camera on one of the wingtips. You won't be able to see that. Well, I can switch to the onboard footage. It feels like that has quite an effect. Yeah, that's what I'm struggling with that camera. Huh. Okay, but well, as you can see, the plane does fly, and especially at higher speeds, at higher throttle positions. Okay, yeah, it's that camera. Okay, I am being screwed over by my own doings. Adding that camera. Yeah, I was slightly reluctant to do so, but yeah, I'm a YouTuber, I want that footage. Right? But you can definitely feel that camera on a wingtip, which makes sense, of course. The plane is completely off balance, probably, especially the drag. It's a drag, that's what it is. So I'm not gonna do aerobatics. I am happy to be able to keep it off of the ground at this point. It's a bit awkward to fly it like this. So yeah, I'm not gonna... maybe I should put another camera on the other wingtip as well. Is that what I should do? You tell me. Okay, so apart from that camera debacle, it is also very windy. But the plane actually looks as if it's handling the wind, as if it were a bigger plane, which is nice. I have, for instance, the Ranger 1600, right? You might be familiar with that plane. This plane flies pretty similarly. And I had not expected that. It's a smaller plane, so it should be a bit bumpier, if that's a word. Less stable. But with this amount of wind, 3 minutes left, it should be a bumpier ride than it actually is. And the speed is actually pretty good as well. So this motor prop combination works out just fine. Maybe I'll try some different, more modern lipos next time, by the way. Hyperion lipos, because yeah, these Hobby King lipos really by now are from a previous generation. They work just fine, but there are better lipos available nowadays. Okay, let's try and land this puppy.
2 minutes.
Damn it. Yeah, there's that building to my right that's a bit in the way for my approach, right? Let's try that again. That was too much of a walk. Yeah, that building, that's in the way of things. I definitely don't want to land on top of the building. Perfect! Oh, yeah, wind. Oh, and I lost my camera. Alright guys, 2 flights in a row and both were successful. So yeah, that Turnigy Nanotech lipo, the 2200, was definitely slightly on the heavy side. You don't want that for this plane. And also, let me show that to you. You can't move the lipo a lot further back because you see those servos. You heard me mention that I was maybe worried that the lipo wires were tangled up with the servos. Well, that doesn't happen that easily, but still, if you'd want to move the lipo further backwards, you'd run into the servos. So you can't, for instance, throw a 3000 milliamp hour 3S lipo in this airplane. You just can't move it back far enough. Just so you know. But well, it was a very, very windy day. Probably windier than I should have taken the plane up in, but it survived, and I had me some good fun. Yeah, I'll do more flights with this airplane, and I'll also FPV it in the future. Be on the lookout for that. Catch you on the next video. Bye bye.